Good morning and welcome to Mt Shasta Escape again. It is December 3rd, Tuesday, and we're still in 2024. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I am going to talk about the Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro. It's a 2023. And some things I've tried on it, some things that have worked and some things that have not yet worked, but I still have ideas for the future. Okay, in order, what I'm going to talk about in this video is first, getting switched accessory power to my Zumo. Second, resetting a service interval using Tune ECU. Third, crash protection and what happened after my two tip-overs. How much was the bike damaged? And fourth, lowering the motorcycle. I've got short legs. I made an attempt at it, wasn't quite what I wanted, and so I've got some other ideas on this. First thing that I'm going to do, since I'm going to have to take my seat off to show some of the things that I've done, is remove the seat. There's a switch for removing the seat. You turn the key, and then this pops right up. Oh, and it is plugged into power because it's an electrically heated seat. Little tab you push on it, and you just pull it out. You'll figure that out. And after you remove that, then this seat just kind of pulls up at the back and slides off. And of course, it is a heated seat also. So once again, it's just a little tab you push in, and the thing slides off. They're color-coded. You've got these two plugs for your heated seat, gray for the back, this for the front. There's a little tab that you push in, which is on the seat side. And this is what I'm using to put switched power to the Triumph. Okay, so this is the device, and I've got that Velcroed in, so I'm going to set this down for a second and pull that off the Velcro. Okay, so this is the device. It's called a Thunder Box TB-U02, or 02 maybe. Okay, so I put a little piece of Velcro right here and Velcro on the back, and there's plenty of room to set it right there. It comes off fairly easy. In turn, I have this. It's just got a couple leads that go to the negative and positive on the battery, which is underneath this. This then has all these different outlets on it. So I guess I'm going to have to take this strap off to pull that out so we can look at it. Okay, so I just took off a little rubber strap. This is a really rudimentary little toolkit that Triumph gives you. I carry tools that really matter in my tail bag there. And here's the device. I will go ahead and show how this is connected to the battery. And I'm starting to appreciate all these people that do these videos, because you have to learn how to do things one-handed. So here the device is. It's got black to black, red to red, and that's all there is to it. Now, an issue when you disconnect your leads from the battery, you're going to suddenly find out that your service warning is going to tell you that you need to get it serviced. And again, I'll talk a little bit about resetting that, but that's not the issue right here. What happens is when you do that, the clock on the instrument panel there resets to like the year 2000 or something, way back when. So you have to set your clock and the date and time, and at that point, all at once the service interval warning goes away because now it knows what the actual date and time is. You don't lose the service date when you disconnect the battery, but you do lose the time on the clock, so you got to reset that, and the whole service warning will go away, assuming that you have it set sometime in the future. So here's my Thunderbox. You have some of these connectors that have a green lead coming to it from the Thunderbox, and some have black. And the green lead, I think, is in effect your positive red wire. And so on this one right here, I have the red wire for the power to my Zumo connected. This one's not being used at all. That would be a ground. That one's not being used at all. That would be your red plus. This one is a ground, and I'm using this also. So what I've done is I've just plugged in the wires for the Zumo to this. And the Thunderbox magically will send power to the Zumo when the bike is running, not when the key is on. The bike actually has to be started and running. I haven't looked into how it actually detects that. I think there's several ways it could do it, but my assumption is that it's measuring voltages across the battery, and when the alternator kicks in, when the motorcycle is started, my guess is that's what activates this, and when that turns off, it can turn it off. Anyway, there's no hunting around to try to find a switched wire to plug this into. This cost, I think, with tax and shipping is a little over $100. I mean, it seems like a lot just to do that, because I've plugged things in forever to switched wires on motorcycles. I did it with my KLX 300. I did it with my GSX 8S, which I still don't have sold. But on this uses what's called a CAN bus. It's a little network that connects all the different devices on it and simplifies the wiring. But with a CAN bus, if you just splice into any old wire, you can wind up with CAN bus errors, which I didn't want to have happen. Okay, before I go any further on this, I tried something else initially. There is a European kind of DIN plug on the back here, and there's also one right here on the front. Now on the front, I've actually got a little DIN plug in here, and on this I have it with two different USB outlets on it. I think a Type A and a Type C. And I just leave it there. I really haven't used it for anything, but if I need to charge something with the USB, I've got it there. Okay, what are the differences in these? The one in the back, right here, only puts power out when the motorcycle is running. Not running, when the key is on. It can not be running, but if you turn the key on, this will have power. This one always has power even when the key is off. That was not good for trying to power my Zumo. So I started out by taking this DIN adapter, plugging in over here, putting a USB cable on this, kind of running it underneath here, and then running it. You'll see that I've got a cable running under the tank, under the side panel, and out through here. It's not too hard to fish something through there. A long little piece of stiff wire, which you could put the cable on. You could slide it through there and then bring it up through here. Seems to be out of the way. But I did that with this USB first. Problem I got into with that, however, is that the USB would plug into this from the bottom right here, and I would continually getting the USB kind of coming loose a little bit, and all at once while I'm riding, it suddenly tells me that my Zumo has lost power and it's running off battery and yada yada. And right here it could get loose also. So that bothered me. Also, there's the issue of here, if you're riding in rain or something, I'm worried that having this thing plugged in and water pouring over it with your USB connected to there, you're going to have problems if you're riding in the rain. So I wanted to actually use the power that adapter and so forth that comes with this Garmin cradle. And if you look at this, I take the Garmin off. It's got some electrical connectors there, and this has connectors back there, and you're not using USB at all anyway. So I'll put this back on. Anyway, now it's hooked into the Garmin cradle the way it should be. It only comes on when the motorcycle is running. Motorcycle off, cuts power to it. See, I don't want that draining the motorcycle battery by accident if I forget to turn off the Garmin. So that's kind of it for this. Again, Thunderbox, it just takes all the guessing and work out of it. You're not trying to find some cable to plug into. I saw some videos where the guy was talking about, well, this is how you can do it without messing up your CAN bus. He was using an adapter just like this, plugging in, doing what I had already done. And I don't like that solution, so. Okay, here's a tip too. My Triumph came with this little plug adapter where you could charge your battery, or I suppose you could use that for a power outlet if you wanted to, but it would be unswitched. And if I wanted to, I could use put a trickle charger on this, which I may at some point. Okay, next topic is resetting service intervals on a Triumph Tiger 900 using Tune ECU. Okay, first of all, you need an Android device to run TCU, and I bought a cheap Android phone. I think total cost, including shipping and tax, was $48. It's a Verizon phone. It's locked to Verizon. It says no SIM found. And this phone, I've read reviews on it. I bought it used, but apparently it's old, and Verizon doesn't even want you to connect it to their network. But anyway, Android device. It's perfectly good for running TuneECU. Second thing that I needed was a plug with the Bluetooth connectivity to plug into my OBD diagnostic plug, which the motorcycle has. You'll find it under the seat right here too. That's what it looks like. That's what this looks like. So you plug that in, it's got a little red light on it, and I can connect it up using Bluetooth to TuneECU now. Of course, my phone constantly warns me that no SIM card is found because it can't connect up to a cellular network. That doesn't stop it from working, though. Android device booted up. You need to swipe up from the bottom. You can get all your apps there, and TuneECU is down here at the bottom, which I could start. But I'm not going to. It says I got no Wi-Fi, all this stuff. I actually did have to have it on Wi-Fi to download TuneECU. So, yeah, I'm not going to worry about setting that up. So I'm not going to really talk about running TCU. I'm just saying you need an Android device. I had to be on Wi-Fi with my Android device to download TuneECU. I had to have PayPal set up to pay for TuneECU, and you have to pay a yearly subscription fee. And it is 25 euros, which is about $31, $32 US. And then I had to get this Bluetooth adapter with that, and you run it. I mean, that's the keys to the kingdom. It's really quite easy to reset the service interval, and I mean, you could do things to kind of tune your ECU on the motorcycle, all kinds of stuff. You can actually get error codes for diagnostics on your engine, and a lot more. But all I really cared about was resetting the service interval. And I have another video I put out saying, should you do this? Well, it was kind of a hassle getting my PayPal account set up, which I had to do. And I bought this plug, and I saw some reviews talking about some work, some don't. All I can say is this one works fine. And I had to get my Android device, and it has to have sufficient memory and all that stuff to be able to run TuneECU. And then you get warnings when you install TuneECU telling you that it's an old app and it doesn't abide by the latest Android security settings and so forth. And so you have to decide if you want to do that. I did. I mean, this is a dedicated phone that's not hooked onto a cell network, and usually it's just turned off, and I wasn't worried about that. And at that point, you can reset your service interval. So enough for that. Changing gears again, let's talk a little bit about crash or tip-over protection. I mean, there's no really good crash protection for any motorcycle, but tip-over protection, very common thing with almost any motorcycle, certainly for me. And let's look at what's happened to this motorcycle after 2 tip-overs. Okay, first of all, I got a paint scratch right here, which for the moment I just put a little decal that came with my device that I used to power up my Zumo. There, I covered a scratch. And you notice, I don't know how well this shows, but I got a few scratches on the tank right there. And then I got another chip in my paint right here. Okay, I think this is all a result of tip-overs. Now, this chip is an indirect result, because what happened here was that my first tip-over, I broke the stock plastic guard right there, and I happened to have these Cherby hand guards left over from my KLX 300, and I figured out that I could make them work. But when I originally put them on, I rotated things down a little bit, and as I discovered, let's see. Yeah. This right here dug into the tank, and that was a result of, anyway, changing the hand guards, and I didn't realize that was going to happen until I did it, so I got that paint chip. And this right here is, I'm pretty sure, related to a tip-over. That's totally tip-over. If I come down here, my crash bars have some scrapes. All I need to do is clean that off a little bit, and I got some flat black spray paint that'll make that look like new again. I just haven't done it. And overall, you know, for 2 tip-overs, and the second one was the worst. I mean, I sat there trying to use my eastbound moto winch to get the thing back upright. I was kind of on a little bit of a hill with moon dust on it, and the bike was kind of sliding and slipping around as I was having trouble getting it up. Finally, a couple of mountain bikers came by and wonderfully helped me get going again. But that's where I got the scratch here. And I don't know exactly how this happened, but I think it was on its side, somewhere in the process there. It got some scratches there. So anyway, that decal at some point will come off. I have some touch-up paint that I already found a place online that would sell that matches the Triumph Sapphire Blue. And I will try doing a little touch-up painting here, here, and here, see how that comes out. May come out well, may not. No dents. I mean, it's cosmetic at this point. But engine cases were fine. Everything was fine, no scrapes. Right here, when it came over inside, got something. So I may look into getting some upper crash bars. Triumph sells some, then there could be some others. It's Triumph down below, so I'd probably go Triumph. Keep it the same. Add more weight to the bike, but at least I would avoid getting scratches like that. And I don't really know what happened here. The other thing about putting those upper crash bars on it, they make it to where it doesn't lie quite as flat when it tips over. So enough said of that. Actually, you know, this did its job pretty well. Didn't get very much damage, just some little bit of paint damage, and I'll see what I can do to try to make it look better at some point. But at this point, it's not really bothering me. And as far as the Acerbi handguards go, I think they look fairly good on the bike. Green, you know, I could buy a different plastic for them, and I actually cut a little notch in it right here when I was trying to get it to work with my KLX 300, and I finally gave up and put some different handguards on it, which did work. That I've got a fairly stiff left ankle, which is an artificial ankle. It's replaced the original. I have a little challenge sometimes getting a foot down on this, and I know it's a fairly low seat height, but with a 29-inch inseam and a couple of replaced joints, it can be a challenge for me. So I have already once tried raising the forks up about an inch in the triple clamps, both sides. And it's really pretty darn easy to do because you've got a center stand on this. Center stands are great for oiling chains, adjusting chains, and doing things like moving your forks up and down. And again, to do that, I've got a little lift. Put it on the center stand, put the lift right here, and it kind of pushes it up so the back wheel's down and this is up in the air. And so with that, I can lower them down easily. As far as for raising them up, actually you want it on the ground like this. You loosen up the triple clamps there, and there's a spot down here. You loosen it up as well. And just kind of rock it forward, put a little pressure on the front forks, and they'll come up, and you can fine-tune it a little bit, get it to the height that you want. And I raised the forks about an inch. The handling on the bike was, as far as I could tell, pretty much unaffected. The bike still seemed great on pavement and on dirt, which I rode both. But what made me put them back to the stock position right here, so instead of being raised up a little ways, they're flush now with triple clamps, was that the side stand right here put the bike at a fairly steep angle if you're parking on flat surface, and if you were parking on surface where, you know, this part of the ground is a little bit higher, you know, I was really concerned about the bike tipping over. Now, you always worry about things like that with a side stand, but it made it a little bit more of a worry, enough so that I decided to raise it up and not lower the bike at this time. So I'm still thinking about raising that up, but if I do that, I'm going to need an adjustable height side stand. Now, I think anybody that's followed my channel for a while knows that I was thinking about getting a V-Strom 800DE and the Suzuki. I like that motor. I like my GSX 8S for that matter. But when I was just sure I was going to get it, and then they did the stop sale on me the same day I was going to buy it, I had already ordered some parts for it. One of the parts that I ordered for it was an adjustable side stand. I had a lowering link for it because I knew I was going to need to lower that bike. And so in short, I looked at the adjustable side stand saying, I wonder if I could use that on this bike. And what I discovered is that with side stands, there's two ways that they do it. They put the return spring sometimes on the outer edge of it on this side, like Triumph does. And sometimes they put the return spring on the inside edge over there. Suzuki puts it on the inside edge. In fact, I think if you look over there on my GSX 8S, you can see that's what they've they've done with this. It's on the inside, as opposed to the outside, which means that I can't use that adjustable side stand on here. I think otherwise I could. So I'm going to have to do a little research, try to find an adjustable side stand for a Triumph 900, Tiger 900. And at that point, I can lower the front forks. And they do make lowering links. You notice it's got a linkage right here for the rear suspension. And these are the dog bones. You just need to get some dog bones that I think you put longer ones on there, which will lower the rear suspension a little bit. And I might try lowering it an inch front and rear. And I know I look at my ground clearance, I'll lose some ground clearance. But with my short legs, I think it would be a good trade. And the dirt roads that I ride on mostly don't need that much ground clearance. Now you notice it does have a little plastic skid plate here. It's not real sturdy. So far it's been fine for everything that I've done. But I may put a metal skid plate on it at some point. Again, take the plastic one off, put the metal one on. I don't think it would change the ground clearance much from where it is already. So I'm thinking about lowering it. I know how to do it. I've done it on lots of motorcycles because I'm a short guy. And I'm thinking about adding upper crash bars and a skid plate. And again, if you lower it an inch, the skid plate would improve your odds a little bit of not doing damage if you were going over rough, rocky terrain. Okay, if you like this video, I've seen lots of YouTubers do this. Hit that like button, thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button. And maybe someday in a few years, I'll make a $1 or $2 off this YouTube channel. I wouldn't mind defraying some of the cost of all this stuff that I'm doing. Anyway, thanks for watching.